He said, this is my personal expression of my kadosh heart, which I'm giving you, my people Israel, to teach and learn so that you will be kadosh like I am kadosh, and I'm calling these my mishpat. And somebody else says, whew, boy, he's done away with those. Well, if we were taken away from the kingdom and given the tyrannical overlords to tell us what to do instead of doing what Yahweh said to do, that we must do, yes, we could say, yeah, they were done away with. But fortunately, we were given the prerogative and the great blessing to gimel back to him via the mechanism of the door, to come back to the blessing, to come back to the mishpat, to come back to the covenant, which is what we're talking about. So to say the mishpat were done away with, now you have to look close. Well, there's one whole parashah about the mishpat. There's one whole section. And it's like, these are just to say what's right and what's wrong. And when it says an eye for an eye, it's like, oh, boy, I've accidentally knocked the guy out. Now somebody's going to take a screwdriver and stick it in my eye? That doesn't seem fair. Or is it value for value? If you break a guy's shovel, buy him a new shovel. Isn't that fair? It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. So if you say, for regarding the matters of, and this word olam can be translated as the world, it's also eternity. Concerning the matters of eternity, what's translated for unto eternity is your mercy and your kindness, because the word chesed is translated as mercy and kindness. But if you say for the matters of eternity, then you look at chesed. Well, this is the fence, and the word samek dalet is where is like the stocks that you get tortured in. But, let me see if I have this down here. Boy, we'll have to get to this in the next break. The meaning of the letter het, samek, according to the dictionary, I wanted to show you what it was. It slips my mind at the moment. The point is, the samek in the paleo lines up with the menorah. Same position. It's an engineered structure. So here is the kingdom, the walls of the kingdom, the fence, and here's the engineered structure. You look at the book of Revelation, where it talks about Yeshua having these lampstands, and the secret of the 7 stars we talked about, the word for star is the same word for fire extinguisher. He can put out the light of these stars. If you look at the word in Revelation 21:27 and 22:15, it says, those who invent, craft, manufacture, or perpetuate lies or falsehoods have no part in my kingdom. Now you may think you're saved. You may believe you're going to heaven. You may be standing here waiting, where's that darn rapture bus anyway? We should have been out of here by now. I think I'm good. I still have my ticket. But if you are perpetuating falsehood, there's no part in his kingdom. And so even though you're standing there on Judgment Day, you say, hey, we did miracles in your name, and we preached in your name, and he says, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, anomio in Greek, I never knew you. It's like, what do you mean you never knew us? We did miracles in your name. We cast out demons in your name. We did all kinds of crazy stuff in your name. But for him to say, I never knew you, we could talk about how many times the word Yada Yahweh is in there, which is knowing Yahweh. We've got 2 minutes here. This is knowing him. I would put to you that this is knowing him, and the Ruach HaKodesh will only lead us into the truth of what these things mean. And anybody that says this stuff is changed or done away with might mean, well, you're just expressing the curse. Yeah, it was taken away from us. But to say it's been done away with, now you have to go back and say, would Yahweh change his heart? Would he not reveal his heart? If you go back to the Dalet, my point is this. This has to do with the word for sparing. That's what it is. It has to do with sparing. Merciful kindness. The key, the Dalet of the structure of Yahweh's light is merciful kindness to one another. And if you read through Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel and Hosea and Amos, it's always telling Israel, you've torn each other apart. I told you to love your neighbor. Merciful kindness is the door. You want the covenant back? Do the merciful kindness, which is the expression of my heart. And to show you how much you hate merciful kindness, I brought my word in the flesh, and you tore him apart, ripped him to shreds, let him bleed. That's what you've done to each other. That's what you've done to my word. That's what you did to Yeshua. If you want the covenant back, merciful kindness, sparing each other with forgiveness, beseeching the blessing for one another. not exacting vengeance, but Yahweh has decreed. The man who does what he will, it will come back on his head. That's the law. We don't need to take that law into our own hands. Just like the Gimel and the Ayin, what every man does will come back. That's the law. It has not been done away with. If we send out loving kindness, chesed, emet and chesed around our necks is what he said. We want the door back. We want to enter the door. We want to come back to the terms of the covenant. How do you prove you love Yahweh and want to be in his kingdom? John said, you can say you love Elohim, but if you terrorize and ruin and harm and seek conniving, vindictive mechanisms against your neighbor and your brother, you have nothing to do with Elohim. You're lying to yourself and lying to each other and lying from your pulpits. It has nothing to do with your words. It's your actions living his word. And these things are all about the manifestation and expression of Yahweh's heart, his Dalet, which is tender, loving, kindness. Chesed is the one greatest zero right there, the middle of the bullseye dot of what's underneath the Zadi, underneath the Kuf. It is the Dalet, which is what the Gimel came to present to us as the Dalet. And Yeshua said, I'm the only way to the Father. Unto eternity. You want to enter eternity, be kadosh, just like his kindness is kadosh. His chesed is the key, is the desire, is the key to the door. We don't have to wait for him to bring it. We have to do it to each other. Love Yahweh your Elohim. Who is he? The loving kind one. And love your neighbor as yourself. It all goes back to us doing it present tense. That's the Dalet.